The sun had barely crested the horizon over the sleepy border town of Alquila when the first black SUV rolled into the parking lot of Manny's diner. The place was a relic of chrome trim, faded neon, and a jukebox that hadn't worked since the Bush administration. But the coffee was strong, the eggs were always hot, and the man behind the counter had a quiet way of making you feel like you belonged. Manny Reyes, single father and retired Delta Force operative, had opened the diner 5 years ago after leaving a life that most men never survived. His daughter, Sophia, was the reason. She was 10 now, all sass and freckles, and the only thing that kept the ghosts of his past from clawing their way back into his present. The cartel didn't know any of that. They'd heard rumors of a diner near the border that refused to pay protection, a place where truckers, ranchers, and even a few off-duty cops gathered without fear. That kind of defiance didn't sit well with the Sombra Negra crew, so they carry 6 men, armed to the teeth, faces hidden behind bandanas and mirrored shades. Manny was flipping pancakes when the first one kicked open the door. Everyone on the ground. The man barked in Spanish, waving an act like he was auditioning for a low-budget narco flick. The regulars froze. Sophia, seated at the counter with her sketchpad, looked up with wide eyes. Manny didn't flinch. He turned off the griddle, wiped his hands on a towel, and stepped out from behind the counter. "You boys lost?" he asked, voice calm, almost bored. The leader sneered. "This place is under new management. You pay, or you burn." Manny looked around. The diner was silent. Even the jukebox seemed to hold its breath. "I don't pay," he said, "and I don't burn." The man raised his rifle. "Then you die." What happened next was a blur. Manny moved like a shadow of fluid, precise, terrifying. He grabbed a metal coffee pot and hurled it into the gunman's face. The man staggered, blood blooming from his temple. Before the others could react, Manny was already in motion. He ducked under a wild spray of bullets, rolled across the floor, and came up behind the second man, snapping his neck with a twist that was almost gentle. Sophia screamed. One of the cartel thugs turned toward her, gun raised. Manny's eyes went cold. He crossed the room in 3 strides and tackled the man through the window, glass exploding outward as they crashed into the gravel outside. The remaining cartel members scrambled, firing blindly, but Manny was already gone. He vanished into the desert haze like a ghost. The leader stumbled outside, bleeding and furious. "Who the hell is this guy?" he shouted. One of his men, trembling, whispered, "They call him Al-Fatisma, the ghost. Delta Force. He's not supposed to be real." The leader cursed. "He's just one man." But Manny wasn't just one man. He was a storm wrapped in skin. He'd done things in Kandahar and Fallujah that made hardened soldiers weep. He'd dismantled terror cells with nothing but a knife and a radio. And now, he was a father with something to protect. The cartel regrouped in the parking lot, trying to form a plan. But Manny was already moving through the shadows, picking them off one by one. A tire iron to the skull, a chokehold in the dark, a shotgun blast from the kitchen window. By the time the sheriff arrived, the diner looked like a war zone. Bodies sprawled across the gravel, bullet holes in the walls. Sophia, unharmed, sat on the counter sipping orange juice. Manny stood outside, arms crossed, watching the sun rise over the desert. Sheriff Delgado stepped out of his cruiser, eyes wide. "Jesus, Manny, what the hell happened here?" Manny shrugged. "Breakfast rush got a little rowdy." Delgado looked around. "You know who these guys were?" "Sombra Negra," Manny said. "They won't be back." Delgado nodded slowly. "You want me to file a report?" Manny looked at Sophia, then back at the sheriff. "Nah, just say it was self-defense." Delgado hesitated. "You sure you're okay?" Manny smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I'm fine. Just tired of pretending I'm not who I am." The sheriff clapped him on the shoulder. "Well, if you ever want to stop flipping pancakes and start flipping bad guys again, let me know." Manny chuckled. "I've got all the bad guys I need right here." As the sheriff drove off, Manny turned back toward the diner. Sophia ran to him, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Are they gone?" she asked. "They're gone," he said, kissing the top of her head. She looked up at him. "You're not just a cook, are you?" Manny smiled. "No, Mija, I'm a ghost." And in the quiet that followed, the desert seemed to nod in agreement.